everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the VitaCast episode 15. I'm your host, Tyler Oltoff, and with me as usual is Kyle Wakeling.
Hello.
Brian Sharon.
Hey everyone.
And Yuki talking about one of his favorite games that you'll hear later on. So let's head over to what we've been playing. Been playing a few games. Always playing some lounge play games, which we were able to play a lot of Killzone Mercenary, which was a blast. I was owning, although my team lost both times. Kyle, come on, pick it up. Also played some Hot Shots Golf, and, Kyle just can't handle me. It was too good. Who won, Kyle?
You did.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
Also played Dragon Ball Z. Been playing a ton of that. A lot of that. Also played... I gotta check my Vita right now, because I know I played some more stuff. Oh, I played more of the Tokiden demo. Been enjoying that. I still need to play more, because I barely really dove into that when the game's about to come out. So, yeah. I also played some more Ys Memories of Celceta. Still trying to get further in that game. I think I'm stuck right now, and that's just because I'm dumb and I don't know where I'm going. I also downloaded Smartaz and played like a few brain teasers of that, and I kind of really don't like it. Like, it's easy, but it's kind of just like whatever. I got one trophy, and I was like, all right, I'm good, and stopped playing that. What else did I play? Where are you? Oh, I've been playing more Mutant Mudds. I've been starting to write the review for that, so hopefully I can get that done pretty soon. And I'm pretty sure that's all I've been playing. Brian, what have you been playing this week?
Yeah, I went back into my backlog and I pulled out the old Persona 4 Golden, and I've been diving into that quite a bit. I believe I'm close to the end. I don't want it to end, so I've kind of taken another hiatus after digging in another 15 hours over the weekend or so. So that's what I've been playing mostly. Other than that, I've been playing the Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z, but on PlayStation 3. Enjoying that a little bit. I beat that over the weekend. And then in my spare time, whenever I have a few extra minutes, I just do a couple kick flips with Ali Ali, try to get a little bit of an accomplishment done on one of the stages and move on from there. I love that game. I just wish I had more time. How about you, Kyle?
Well, I've been playing a couple different things, kind of bounced around a bit. I played some PlayStation All-Stars, got some more trophies on that. I played the lounge play, so we did Killzone Mercenary and Hot Shots Golf, which I just got destroyed at. I've been playing too much other system, I guess. Played a little Ollie Ollie. What else did I play? Oh, and I played, just dug in a little bit to Muramasa Rebirth and Danganronpa, which I'll be talking about later this week.
Them Dangans.
Yeah.
So you lied to me, Brian. There's Robot Brian showing his ugly face.
I love the Dragon Opera.
Oh, okay. I'm interested in them Dangans, but I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on that yet. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to your review, Kyle.
All right, well, you do that.
Oh, I will. Believe me. All right, so Brian, what do we got this week?
Yeah, this week we're going to go over the North American releases, as we don't have a full list for Europe just yet. So this week you can look forward to these Vita games in North America. You have Dust Force, Surge Deluxe, the Lego Movie video game, King Oddball hitting this week for PlayStation releases. Those are full releases. And then in terms of PS1 classics, we have Gex Enter the Gecko. And then as part of the Monkey Paw foreign releases, we have Hyper Crazy Climber. And that's all.
Nice. Very interesting. I don't know if I'm going to go for Dust Force, but it's part of that Play promotion thing, right?
Yeah, it is.
And I like money, so I've already got the first two games, so why not, right? Nope, okay. I guess we'll just head on to the news. You guys don't want
Yeah.
Alright, so the news for this week. It's going to be a little shorter than last week. Last week was crazy long. We had, I think an hour's worth of news. It was ridiculous. So first bit of news is Forgotten Memories could be a summer release, so look out for that. Psychos Interactive. Someone killing their keyboard? No?
I heard it, but I had no idea. I don't know who it was.
I just heard like a clicking noise.
It sounded like somebody was punching their desk or something.
I don't know. It's not coming through like properly on my end or something.
That's really weird. Yuki, what are you up to?
He's over there banging his head on his keyboard. It's like, oh shit, I didn't know I had the mic on.
Alright. Anyways, Psychos Interactive has revealed some interesting details about the PlayStation Vita edition of their much-anticipated survival horror game Forgotten Memories. While we had known that developers were currently in the process of finalizing the title for Sony's handheld, a confirmed and published correspondence with a member of the Vita's Reddit community has shone light on the details of the project. According to Psychos, the pilot episode of Forgotten Memories is complete, but due to the implementation of a serialization system, it may take some time yet. Quote, it'll take some time, about 1 to 2 months, to finish a full Vita port working 100%, but that's just development. There's also game submission and availability on the PSN, which could add in another 1 to 3 months, so we think probably this summer, end quote. So yeah, this game, if you haven't heard about it, it's a survival horror type game that was announced a while back, and I've been really interested in it, so hopefully it's coming soon, because I've been wondering what's going on with this game, and I follow the developer on Twitter, but I don't really see too much posted about it very often, so hopefully we hear news about it, its exact release. But yeah, Kyle, you were interested in this one, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some more.
Yeah, they really need to do... I think they only have like one trailer or something, and it's like an iPhone version trailer, so... Or iPad or something like that, I don't know, but...
I just remember taking a look at it and thinking there wasn't enough there to satisfy my curiosity to build the game, I guess. So I'm kind of waiting on some more official, more proper news and info, I guess, on it.
Right. Yeah, so if we get any more news, obviously we'll post it up on the Vita Lounge, so look out for that. Next bit of news, Ethan Meteor Hunter is crawling its way onto the PlayStation Vita very soon. Steven, is that how you say it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Steven Studio has announced that their PlayStation 3 and PC title, Ethan Meteor Hunter, will be heading to Vita. So this platformer will come to the Sony's handheld with the full intention of taking advantage of the platform's unique control inputs. They said, quote, "We're really glad with this Vita version of Ethan Meteor Hunter," end quote. And that was said by Olivier Pinoy.
Olivier Pinoy.
Yes, we. The producer and co-founder at Steven Studio, he says, "The touchscreen just made sense with the telekinesis feature. This is something players asked for, and we listened. This is really a community release. The game will not only utilize the Vita's front touch, but also the rear, making use of the often ignored function. However, those looking for a more traditional experience will also be able to ignore these touch-centric functions in favor of a scheme more in line with its console counterpart. Additionally, the game will come sporting cohesion across PlayStation platforms, featuring not only shared leaderboards between the PS3 and PS Vita versions, but it will be cross-buy enabled as well. Moreover, the PlayStation 3 version of the game will receive both a demo and a sale this week, with the full game set to be available for 50% off if you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber, or a 30% discount for regular users." Wait a minute. So this game is coming out this week for...
No, it's already out on PlayStation 3.
Oh, okay.
It will be heading to Vita. However, it will be on sale this week for PlayStation 3, and it is cross-buy. So if you want to get it in early on it, you could buy it this week when it's on sale, before it comes out on Vita, and then you get both copies.
Aha! Sneaky. Alright. That's cool. Yeah, if you're interested in this game, and you have a PS3, or if you just go on the website and buy it for 50% off, there you go.
Also, don't forget to head to our website because we have an exclusive little GIF, a little video there embedded into our news story that's exclusive to the Vita Lounge. So that's one of the exclusive looks you can get at the game.
Nice. I'm watching it right now.
It's mesmerizing, hypnotic, right?
I don't even want to continue recording. Alright. Next bit of news. Killzone Mercenary Update 1.05 released. Fixes stability. Gorilla Cambridge has released this update, so go download it if you haven't. According to the changelog, the 8,000 KB patch brings only stability fixes to the handheld first-person shooter. In November of last year, the developers detailed a loose timeline for future updates, the fifth of which was promised to contain 2 free multiplayer maps and an offline bot zone for players to enjoy while disconnected. Exactly 1 week ago, Update 1.04 became available for Killzone Mercenary, and while it sought to improve various aspects of the game, many in the community have reported errors occurring after applying it. It's unknown to us at this time whether or not 1.05 addresses these errors. However, given how recently the previous patch was delivered, it seems likely that the developers sought to rectify a pressing issue within the game.
So I just wanted to chime in real quick that they have emailed me and told me that this is why they patched it. So yeah, that is why, one of the main reasons for that stability fix.
Okay. Well, that's good, because, we played the lounge play last Saturday, and it seemed to be holding up just fine, so...
Yeah, we didn't really have any issues, like, connection errors or whatever.
Yeah, so that's always good. Alright, next bit of news. Project Diva F second release delayed in Japan. Sega has announced that they will be delaying the launch of Hatsune Miku Project Diva F second from its planned Japanese release date of March 6th to March 27th. The famed Japanese publisher says that the extra time will allow them to improve the overall quality of the latest entry in the popular Vocaloid Rhythm series. In an act of goodwill, Sega has released a brand new trailer that showcases Project Diva F Second's auto-tune heavy opening theme song, Decorator.
You flew through all the Japanese names like Hatsune Miku, that was all fine, and then you got stuck on Decorator.
Okay, so remember, every time I read a song name from this game, I'm always trying to figure it out. Well, I was expecting this. I was like, okay, here we go. My brain's like, all right, theme song, it must be Japanese. Decorator. So, shut up, Brian.
No, I was commending you doing such a good job previously, and then you just got stuck on the small thing. It's okay.
Hey, it happens to the best of us, right?
Yeah, of course.
On a serious note, March 6th to March 27th isn't too bad. If it's a game you're really, really, really excited for, yeah, that's a little upsetting, but I would always prefer a game that has better quality than a game that has less quality. So, yeah, it's not like it's like a 2-month delay or something. It's only 10 or 20 days, something like that, 21 days. So yeah, look out for that. Next up, Putty Squad jumps onto PlayStation platforms March 11th. Maximum Games has announced that they will be releasing the modern iteration of Putty Squad for PlayStation platforms on March 11th of this year. The game will carry a price tag of $29.99 on all platforms, being set at a relatively discounted price compared to most home console releases. Originally developed by System 3 software for the Amiga 1200 in 1994, Putty Squad was a critical darling and achieved cult success on the Super Nintendo that has continued to last for nearly 3 decades. The game is a classic platformer that tests your ingenuity as you must stretch, inflate, morph, and punch your way to success. The remake of the retro platformer will feature key additions such as new graphics, moves, modes, leaderboards, and more. Look out for that on March 11th on PS Vita, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4 for $29.99 US, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the US.
Sweet.
So I think you guys are pretty young, and maybe you guys don't remember, this was a game that had much mythology and fable behind it when it was developed originally for the Amiga, especially in Europe, where people they saw this in magazines and they heard about it from friends, and this was supposed to be some revolutionary game, and unfortunately it never released on the Amiga, disappointing a lot of people. And then when it hit the SNES, it didn't do all that well except for with critics, and then just over the long haul here, it's kind of gained a cult success, like I mentioned in the article. But for many, this might seem like a release that goes underneath the radar, but for a lot of people, especially hardcore gamers of an older age, this is a game that they've been waiting for a long time.
Do you think Yuki's saying that the price is probably too high? Do you think the price is too high?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. I agree with him in the sense that most games of a remake or a retro variety would be a PSN download. However, I believe this is getting a boxed release. So it depends on how you look at it. A boxed release for a PS4 game, depending on quality, of course, but is typically around $59.99, especially in Canada. If you're talking about an American release, you're talking about a discounted price there. Whether it should be a downloadable game, that's another question. I do think it's a steep price considering what they're offering.
Yeah. Seeing that how high it is, I don't think I will go for it. But yeah, I think they should have at least maybe made the Vita version a little cheaper, like maybe $10 cheaper, $5 cheaper or something. But that's the problem with going box releases, is that you have to accommodate for shipping and all that other stuff and whatnot. So yeah. All right, next bit of news. Darklands Kickstarter campaign includes Vita base goal. So the Kickstarter campaign for the visually somber Darklands is in full swing, and according to the developers, it includes a PlayStation Vita release as part of its base goal. At the
time of this article.
At the time of this article, the campaign has raised $3,523 of its initial $10,000 goal, and sits with 22 days until completion. Developed by a Czech studio, Mingle Games, Darklands originally launched for Windows Phone in late 2013 and is currently seeking a multi-platform release. The game blends together elements of Endless Runner with that of a fantasy role-playing game, all presented within the beautifully grim form of silhouettes. Utilizing an array of powers, weapons, and abilities, players must avoid traps while also combating imposing enemies. Crowdfunding will offer the independent studio the ability to not only port the game to other platforms, but also to create a more robust experience, adding content such as new enemies. The PlayStation Vita base goal for Darklands was confirmed to us by the developers, and you can expect to see the Kickstarter campaign updated in that regard at some point today, or whenever this was posted, which was the 31st. So, yeah. I've watched the video. There's a trailer if you want to go watch it on the Vita Lounge, and it's interesting. I don't know if it's something I would like, but I will keep my eye on this one for sure. Next bit of news, we got Mind Zero confirmed for Western release this spring. Axis has confirmed that Mind Zero will indeed be seeing a Western release in spring of 2014 and is currently available for pre-order. The dungeon-crawling RPG will be released in both retail and digital formats in North America, as well as digitally in Europe, this spring for the price of $39.99. The news of an official Western release comes following a rather telling pre-order listing on the GameStop website earlier today, or the day that this was posted. The game follows Key, I'm just going to think it's Key, a seemingly normal high school student whose life takes a turn for the strange when enters into a contract with a mind, a living weapon with dangerous and deadly abilities. This supernatural encounter leads Key to search for the secret behind Mind, calling the attention of the government and other nefarious forces along the way. So yeah, this game kind of has a similar look and feel towards Persona, at least in my eyes, but I think it handles a few things a little differently from what I've seen, but I'm definitely keeping my eye on it, because when I heard about this coming to Japan, before it was even announced that it was coming to the West, I was like, oh boy, this better come to the West. So this is definitely something I'll keep my eye on. What about you guys?
Yeah, personally,
I think Yuki had something to say.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Yuki.
Well, you post, and usually you read it, you jerk.
I'm sorry. All right, so Yuki says for Mind Zero, while I'm happy that we get it, it's somewhat Persona-like Persona-like after all, but I am skeptical after reading some of the Japanese Amazon ratings. One common thing among is that the story feels unfinished. Sure, it could mean that this isn't the last game, but if we don't get a sequel, we will be left with an unfinished story. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Like I said, I want to keep my eye on it, so if I start to see people saying it's not what they were expecting, then maybe I won't grab it. But I love Persona, and I don't mind people trying to go for a Persona-like game. But what were you going to say, Kyle?
I was just going to say, it seems kind of like to me, the Persona anime that they brought out, Persona Trinity Soul, it's like more real world based than, mystical in your mind dungeon in the TV kind of Persona. So it does seem like it's something a little bit different, and from what I've seen of it, I definitely will be picking it up and having a go at it at least. It looks like something that would appeal to a Western audience if as we've seen, they like Persona 4 Golden that much.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. Alright, next bit of news. Conception 2 to get a PSN-only release in Europe in Q2. Atlus has announced in a press release that they will be bringing Conception 2, Children of the Seven Stars, to Europe in Q2 of this year. Developed by Spike Chunsoft, Conception 2 is an RPG that will see you juggle relationships. Motherfucker, my phone's ringing. There we go, we're good. Anyways, where was I? It's an RPG that will see you juggle relationships with 7 heroines battling monsters to save the world and trying to figure out your character's role with the overseeing Angel Marker Industries all in a day's work. Alright. In a press release, Atlus described that, quote, in Conception 2, players are God's gift, a human teenager bestowed with the blessing of the star god with power levels that are off the charts. His ether is the only thing in the world that allows him and his fellow classmates to enter and fight the evil contained within dusk circles. Monster-filled labyrinths that threaten human existence. To aid him in labyrinths, his powers allow him to create star children. But only by maintaining relationships with the game's heroines will players be able to create an army of better, stronger, faster star children with suitable elemental powers. The complex elements of managing relationships are only matched by the intricate combat systems where positioning, attack chains, and combos are vital for survival. The game is already planned for a release in North America on the 15th of April, with the European version now confirmed as a download-only title for PlayStation Network. So yeah, at least Europe's getting it, right? Yeah.
Go Europe, go.
Well, Yuki's in Europe, so how do you feel about that, Yuki being downloadable only? Oh, you're going to import it. I see. So you don't like that it's...
care at all.
Yeah, okay. It said download only sucks. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but at least they're giving Europe the option to get the game easy instead of having to import it. But yeah, if you'd like to import it so you have an actual physical copy, there you go. You can do that from North America. Alright, I need to open up some more news stories because I got distracted by my phone going crazy.
I always picture people who have to have physical versions just laying in their bed at night with all these console games and just hugging them as they go to sleep.
Yeah, but you can make a good point. That game's probably going to be around 2 gigs. Let's face it.
Yeah, it will be pretty big.
Yeah.
I agree that it kind of sucks for people who like to keep their entire collection on them, like me, but yeah.
Yeah. If I don't think it'd be that big of a deal if Vita memory cards were cheap or bigger and priced right. Because then every time you hear about this, you'd be like, "Oh, I got room, no problem."
Yeah, I think that you're hitting at the core issue here, which is the problem that everybody complains about, is that Vita's memory is just way too expensive.
Yeah, and
I don't think anybody here has a problem with digital. I really don't. I get some people are like this antiquated form of technology, and they like having a collector's item. But I think most of us would make way for digital if it was cheaper and more convenient. Unfortunately, it's just not right now with the Vita anyway.
Yeah, hopefully they do something to fix that, but it's been a while, and they haven't really done too much. All right. Up next, Surge Deluxe hits Vita on February 4th. That's today! What? So I don't really need to talk about this because it's out now.
Yeah, well, it hits Europe tomorrow. It hits Europe tomorrow, and our review is up today from Jasper, the old bugger you might remember from early episodes of the VitaCast.
Oui.
I think today's like the French episode. Before we went on air, we were talking about French people and how Tyler could recognize one from a mile away. And then a French name pops up and he couldn't even pronounce it.
I'm sorry. It's been a long time since I was in French class in high school. Okay? So...
Did you learn about French dressing, French kissing?
That's all we did in that class. I was like the only guy in that class. Oh,
I had one of those too. Grade 10 French.
Oh man, okay. Sorry, this is off topic, but I just have to mention it because we're talking about French in school and kissing.
Yeah, go.
So when I was in high school and I was in French class, there's literally me and only one other guy in that class, and the teacher was a girl or a woman, and she was like, "All right, we're going to prepare for a fashion show, and you have to say everything in French." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And
one that's pretty stereotypical.
It was ridiculous. And both me and this guy were just like, "Are you kidding me? We have to do a fashion show." And all the girls were all freaking out, of course, like, "Oh my god, I'm going to wear such a cute dress." And yeah. Anyway, that's my story.
And then you were like, "I'm going to wear a cuter one."
Yep.
Boom, and you slammed the door.
Yep. It was dramatic. Just like that. How do you know? Were you there?
It's legendary. You can't go on the Neo Gas without hearing about it.
It's all
the legendary Tyler Althoff.
You say my last name weird.
Can you say it so I can get it right? Let's get into like a little lesson.
You kind of said it correctly. You just pronounced the beginning really awkwardly. Like it's
Althoff? It's
Oltoff.
Oltoff, okay.
Yeah. You basically had it, so.
Yeah, B. Ryan Sharon.
Don't hate on the last name. I get so many predicaments because of my last name.
I had a teacher in middle school that would always say my last name Otloff, and I would tell her it's not Otloff, and she'd be like, "I know," and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
She's like, "That was trolling before trolling."
Oh, she hated me. Anyways.
Teachers be trolling. They hating.
Keep going.
She was sitting at dinner every day with her husband, and she's like, "That Tyler kid, he's starting to get up."
Oh, man. She was very mean. Anyways.
So Surge Deluxe.
Yes, it's coming up. Go grab it. There's a review, like Brian was saying, that Jasper did, so... Yeah! Let's go to the next bit of news.
I love your segues, Tyler. You're just like, yeah, next bit of news.
Yeah, yeah. Anyhow. PlayStation Vita Indie Game Mega Pack heading to the UK. On the heels of the PlayStation Vita Slim announcement this morning, Sony has announced that they will be releasing a PlayStation Vita Indie Game Mega Pack in the United Kingdom this February. The indie game variation of the PlayStation Vita Mega Pack will come in two bundle, each containing a voucher.
Wow, that's incredible.
Oh, jeez. Where was I? There was. All right. Containing a voucher for 10 of the most popular independently developed titles on Sony's handheld. The memory card bundle contains a 4GB memory card as well as a PlayStation Store voucher to download all 10 games for the recommended retail price of $24.99, whereas the PlayStation Vita Plus memory card bundle comes with a brand new PlayStation Vita, a 4GB memory card, and a voucher to download all 10 titles for the recommended retail price of $199.99. Can all these games fit on a 4 gigabyte memory card?
I would assume so if they're doing it like that. I've checked like a lot of their different setups before, and they're usually like a gig under whatever the size of the memory card is. So,
Okay.
So I know Hotline Miami's pretty small, relatively.
yeah,
Velocity's really small. Thomas Was Alone's pretty small, and those are some of the bigger titles on that list, right? So is Limbo. So yeah, I would imagine so.
Well, with updates and all that, like
Those games don't get much updates in terms of size.
That's true. But I think Hotline Miami has probably the most updates that were fixing like trophy glitches and stuff like that. But those probably wouldn't be that big.
Yeah, it's still not very big.
It's still a concern, though. I mean, I feel like an 8 gigabyte memory card could have been much more appealing.
Well, they should be throwing in at least 8 anyway, I think. 4 gigs is pretty useless. Even like you download all those games, then what are you going to add to it? Maybe one game, and then it's full, right?
Yeah, you're not going to be able to get any like retail or full digital game.
Now, can you color me stupid here because I don't know how this business thing works, but couldn't they have done this in like a single cartridge, like a collection? You might have seen they have those game collections on the PS3, which have Fat Princess and so forth on them. Could they not have done that this way?
Yeah, they definitely could have. It would have called for some sort of menu to be added so you could choose, unless they just made it so like when you put it in, it came up as like 10 bubbles. But other than that, it would be totally feasible if they're fitting it on a 4 gig card.
Yeah, I think that would have been a better way to go. I think the 4 gig card is a joke, number one. And if you're first buying a system, I think that's a really bad way to set up your business, because the person who then buys these games and goes, let's say, to buy Killzone Mercenary realizes, wow, well, Killzone Mercenary just killed my entire card. I have to delete all these wonderful games I just got. So I think it's a bad way to promote your business.
Yeah, they should just do away with the 4 gig and pretend it never existed and just make the 8 the norm.
Yeah, I agree.
But they're not. Anyways, let me read off the games that are included in this bundle to get back on topic. Alien Breed, Thomas Was Alone, Velocity Ultra, Men's Room Mayhem, Coconut Dodge Revitalized, Limbo, Hotline Miami, Total Recoil, Super Frog HD, and Floating Cloud God Saves the Pilgrims in HD. So there you go. There's a trailer also, if you want to check that out, of the Mega Pack. So yeah, look out for that. Or wait, when was it? When did it say it's coming? I already forgot. This February, so this month. Sweet.
Yeah, I don't think they gave up a firm date on it at the time.
Okay. All right, next up, speaking of the PlayStation Vita Slim, it was confirmed for UK a couple days ago. I can't remember what day it was. But we
January 30th.
January 30th?
Yeah.
Ah, yes. I mean, we. It has been priced at $180 and features a LCD screen, 1 gigabyte of internal storage, whilst at the same time being 20% lighter and 15% slimmer. And it also has an improved battery life. The new version released in Japan last October with 6 different color variations, although it seems we will only have the standard black version here, which kind of sucks. Hopefully that recommended retail price will be driven down by the gaming stores, as we simply cannot see the logic ourselves in releasing a new revised unit, which was supposed to offer a lower entry point. Okay, drinking pop is not the best thing to do before a podcast, because I keep having to, like, burp. What the heck? That sounds so weird. Wow. Anyways. The plight of the Vita has already been well documented, and the OLED screen is incredibly striking. We can't see how a unit which appears to be inferior with a higher price is going to restore fortunes. Are you okay? All right. We haven't been told about the 64 gigabyte memory card, a North American release, nor what is happening with the Vita TV. We will bring you that news as we get it. So let's talk about this. Vita Slim. Is this going to help the Vita?
Not at that price point.
Agree.
I I've heard their arguments. They've been arguing that the OLED isn't as bad as what people are making it out to be, and well, the proof will be in the pudding. I haven't had a chance to see it in person myself, so I'll reserve judgment for that. But that aside, conceptually, this is a cheaper build. This is a revised product, which typically brings some sort of price drop. People were expecting it.
Right.
And for them to go in at a similar or higher price rate, without going too far into detail, because I know we're going to be going down as far as news, but for them going at that price rate, I think it's suicide for that device. And I think they know it. I think it's something they know that they cannot sell this device competing with the 3DS, competing with multi-purpose devices like a iPhone or a smartphone in general. It doesn't work. I was amazed when they came out with that price, but I'll be amazed if that's the price we see on store shelves as well.
Yeah, I've heard also that like people that have had the luck of holding this new Vita says that it's like it feels really cheap and flimsy, and that it could just break so easily. So,
well, it's the difference if you've ever held an HTC phone and if you've held a Samsung phone. The Samsung build is very plasticky, and that's the reports we're getting about the Slim, is that it feels very plasticky and very light and very much so like a toy. Whereas the Vita itself, the original Vita model, feels very it feels very firm and very sleek, like a mature hardware device, and there's some weight to it. And I understand they want to make it lighter, but I just don't know if that's the price you can sell that device at.
What price could they sell it at?
Considering that Fergal Guerra said that they were selling around $139, and it seemed to be a really successful price for them during the holidays at $139. I think it's got to be around $159 to $139. I think that's the sweet spot. $189 is just you're pricing yourself out of an entire market, especially with this device marketed maybe towards a wider market of people, demographic wise as far as age. I think if you're going in around $200, I think that's pounds, you're in big trouble.
Yeah. Do you think there's a reason why they are going so high, or are you think that they're just going to push themselves way up, and then that way they can bring themselves lower and make it themselves look better?
That very well might be the case. I know where we're going with a future article. I know that they've said that they've had a lot of success with sales, and I believe there's a lot to marketing when you feel like you're getting a good discount. So without going too far into detail as far as speculating, that might be part of their strategy. You also have to remember, people aren't as naive as when they first bought Vitas. A lot of people bought Vitas not knowing about the memory storage costing so much, but now people are informed about these things, and they know that there is no 64 gig card. They know that a 32 will cost you an arm and a leg, almost as much as a 3DS itself, just for storage. So they're not foolish, and they'll be going in with open eyes. So if they put it out at 180 plus the price of memory, I don't know.
Yeah. We kind of touched on a lot of stuff, but what do you have thoughts on this, Kyle? Or what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what they're thinking with that price. Even if you drop it at that price and then drop the price, I don't think it would look good on their behalf, just because it would make them look kind of dumb to put it there in the first place, even though, they might drop it and give you a deal in 2 weeks or whatever. It kind of makes me think that they think the consumer is stupid, which they shouldn't at this point, considering most of their recent developments have been based on what the consumer wants. So, I don't know, just kind of baffling. I think it would definitely do better at that, 10 or 20 pound less than the original Vita mark, just because being smaller and more refined, people expect a cheaper second iteration because of the fact that you've put all that money into the first one. The second one should be, smaller and cheaper. I don't know why. That's the general consensus, I guess. So they should be pricing it cheaper than the original.
Yeah. Are you guys concerned at all as to why it didn't get announced for North America at the same time as this got announced for Europe?
I believe that the European market is much more engulfed into the PlayStation platform in general. So I think this is a safer bet for them, perhaps for a test run, perhaps just the easier bet for them in general as far as selling units. On top of that, it was also said that the UK is nearly sold out of the original Vita, and this will be taking over all store shelves and replacing that model in general. So this will be the sole option for you if you're looking to buy a Vita very shortly. So maybe that could have had something to do with the timing. Maybe in North America there's a bunch of models sitting around.
I gotcha. So now is the time to buy the original Vita before they run out. If you're in
absolutely.
Europe. And in North America, because you never know. It could start coming this way. All right. You guys have anything else you want to add to that before we move on?
I think we're going to touch upon it a little bit more in a future article, so I think we can move on a little bit.
All right, so next up for the news, we got Terraria 1.2 update for consoles set for simultaneous release, including Vita. Woo! That's what I got to say right there. The feature...
I was a little overexcited.
Right?
Yeah. Hey, Terraria is awesome, and you guys are going to learn one day that this is the best game in the world, and you guys missed out. You're going to be late to the party.
I have a feeling like this is the biggest trolling ever. Like, it's a really horrible game, and you're just telling us it's good to get us to like buy this piece of crap game and like try and play it. Seriously.
Well,
it's the biggest trolling ever.
It's not for everyone, so I mean, I'm just giving you guys crap every time because I love it. I know you guys hate it, so or don't think it looks good, but anywho, the feature-heavy 1.2 update for the console editions of Terraria will be rolling out simultaneously with the actual launch date varying per platform due to certification. The reveal comes by way of a new post by Mr. Rudy, aka developer Rud van de Moesdijk, on Terraria's... Did I?
Yeah.
Awesome. On Terraria's official forum. It is there that the developer shared a wealth of information regarding the current state of the patch's conversion, including when players could expect to find it on their platform of choice. He says, quote, the PS3, Xbox 360, and Vita version will be updated simultaneously. The actual release of all three versions might be off a bit because they go through their own individual certification process, end quote. Additionally, it seems that some extra features will be included in the 1.2 update, such as the festive Halloween event, as well as various rebalancing to harmonize the effect that will be brought on by some of the console-specific content. However, the forthcoming update will also bring a change that will be distinct to the PlayStation Vita version, one that will see rear touch control being an optional feature. He says, quote, Terraria 1.2 for PlayStation Vita will have a new option to turn the back touch screen on or off, seeing as it is about 50-50 in the community between people that love it or hate it. That seems to be the best possible course of action, end quote. And yeah, the back touch screen kind of gets annoying because you can use the cursor to control where you're aiming with the back touch, which it works really effectively, but when you're fighting something and your finger barely touches the back touch screen, the cursor will just suddenly go the other way or whichever way you're touching, and it can throw you off. And if you're fighting a boss or doing something that needs precision, that's going to mess you up. And if you have big, meaty hands, you're going to do that a lot. So that's
like
good.
We know you do.
Yes, I got big, meaty gloves. Anyways, yes, that's good news that you can do that, because, like I just said. Anywho. Alright, next up, Duke Nukem 3D Megaton Edition to boast cross-platform multiplayer via PSN. Publisher Devolver Digital has informed us that Duke Nukem 3D Megaton Edition will boast like what I just said, between both PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 3. The fully loaded title will feature 8-player online multiplayer across 2 game modes. Both Duke Deathmatch and Co-op will be universally playable on the PlayStation Network regardless of platform. The Megaton edition of the classic first-person shooter not only includes the original title and enhanced version of Duke Nukem 3D Atomic Edition, but also 3 unique expansion packs, Duke Caribbean, Duke It Out, and DC and Nuclear Winter. No official release date has been set. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Everyone loves cross-platform multiplayer because that just widens the reach of multiplayer. So yeah, and Brian, you like Duke Nukem, right?
I love Duke Nukem. I don't maybe like him as a character, but that's a game I grew up with, and one of those games that pushed the boundaries of first-person shooters. So absolutely, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be weird to play that game multiplayer in 2014, but it'll be interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
How about you? I know you're a big fan of first-person shooters, but maybe not one as antiquated as Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah, I think I've played one Duke Nukem game, and it was one of the original ones, and I'm not that old, but I enjoyed it, and if it's a good game when they make it on the Vita, then yeah, I'll check it out, because I love me some first-person shooters, and multiplayer games are fun, and Killzone's amazing, so Kyle and I could maybe kill some baddies on Duke Nukem. Right, Kyle?
Maybe. And Duke Nukem has always been one of those, just feels so clunky and old that it was hard for me to play, so I don't know if I'll be able to get back into it, especially after, 10 years of not playing it, but I guess I'll try, and maybe we'll be out there killing some baddies.
We'll see. You'll find out. Maybe we'll do a lounge play of it if we both get it.
Yeah, this game is like 20 years old, so it'll be interesting to see how it holds up.
Yeah. Well, look for more information on the Vita Lounge when we get it. Last bit of news. Q3 2014 release hopeful for Hotline Miami 2 on the Vita. The Devolver Digital are hopeful that this will release in Q3. So, yeah, earlier today, the official Twitter account for Hotline Miami series revealed that fans could expect the upcoming sequel sometime in the third fiscal quarter of this year, sending waves among murderous hearts everywhere. However, a follow-up tweet from publisher Devolver Digital would later clarify that while they are hopeful for a universal launch across all platforms, the project only applies to PC, Macs, and Linux versions of the game. PC, Mac, and Linux hoping to launch on PS... Wait, what? Okay. That was weird. I read that weird. Anywho, hoping to launch on PS4, PS3, and Vita at the same time, but not certain that will happen. Wrong Number is the sequel to 2012's shocking top-down action game Hotline Miami, created by Denton Games. I feel like that's wrong. I read that wrong.
Denton.
Yeah, I think it's Denton.
Denton. All right. And ported to PlayStation platforms by Abstraction. The original title stands as one of the most polarizing games in the Vita's library. So, yeah, we'll let you know more about that when we get news about it. But I feel like this was announced that it was coming to PlayStation platforms first. Or is this a different game? I guess you guys don't know.
I'm thinking about it. I know that there was a game that was planned for PlayStation platforms first, but I don't know that it was Hotline Miami.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I feel like I know for a fact it was a PC game, and people were pissed off. Like, PC gamers were mad that, like, console games were taking this game first or something, when it was originally a PC game first. Like, the first game in the series was on PC, then it came to consoles, but now the second game is coming to consoles first, and I thought it was this game.
I know there was a game recently announced for a debut. I just can't remember what it was.
Well, doesn't affect anything, but yeah.
I know Energy Hook was set to make its PlayStation Vita debut, and that would initially started as a PC game, and then it switched to Vita. Would that be it?
No, it definitely wasn't that. It was definitely a more... I swear it was this game.
Well, it doesn't look like it anymore, at least.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking about that. Anyways, yeah, interesting. I enjoyed Hotline Miami. I reviewed it, so you can check out my review of the original game, and hopefully Hotline Miami 2 is just as good. Alrighty then. Next up, Kyle, it's all you. What is the mail we got this week?
Alright, well, we've got some questions from Twitter this week, and we've got some mail from Jack Gall, so we'll get into it here. Do the email from Jack here first. Hello guys, it's Jack again. I'm becoming very impatient with the possibility of Soul Sacrifice Delta demo in the UK. Should I make a Japanese account just to play the demo, or should I not and hope a demo will come out for the UK, which will mean a Western release of the game? What do you think? Thank you, Jack Gall.
Well, Kyle's the only one that's done this, so what are your thoughts, Kyle?
Well, if you really like the original Soul Sacrifice, it's worth making the switch. Really, it doesn't take all that much time. I think if you follow, there's a guide on the site to switch. It takes like 5 minutes for the untrained, and I can do it in under like 2. So yeah, it doesn't take very long. It's not super hard as long as you follow the instructions. But I do think that you'll be getting a demo in the UK and in all of Europe and the US sometime later this year. I know that the original Soul Sacrifice came out in Japan a couple months before it came out anywhere else, and the demo was also a couple months before anywhere else got it. So it's more than likely that they're just in translation or whatever, and it's coming because it was popular enough to get released over here, I think. So I would wait unless you really need to play Soul Sacrifice like right now, because if you do, then it's got a little bit of play there for you.
It's my money and I need it now.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kyle just nailed it on the head right there, that whatever suits you better, do it. What's up next, Kyle?
All right. This one's from Silent Angel at Silent Angel, or at X Silent Angel on Twitter. He's asking, will anybody be getting the gold headset?
Personally, myself, no, because I've got a Pulse headset that's pretty damn good. But I did look at it and was like, interesting. But yeah, I think I'm good, and especially with the recent update for the PS4 that adds support for previous headsets. There's no real reason I need to update my headset when the one I have works just fine.
Personally, I have a Pulse as well, same like Tyler. I enjoy it very much. Once I get a PS4 and once they update it, I'll definitely be using that there. I prefer the Pulse functionality. As for whether I'll be getting the gold one, I have one in the mail already, but that's that's for review purposes. But otherwise, for retail purposes, I wouldn't buy it. Personally, I would hold off, and I'm a big fan of the Pulse. How about you, Kyle?
Yeah. I probably will be getting it unless somebody happens to buy it for me for some reason. I'm not really all that into headsets and blah blah blah. I use cheapo piece of crap like $5 headphones from Giant Tiger. So I don't really care that much about what I'm listening to. As long as I can hear it, it's fine.
Very nice. What next, Kyle?
All right. Chris Hill, CJ Hill 183620M on Twitter asks, how do you guys maintain or clean your Vitas? I use a microfiber cloth and wood toothpicks.
Interesting. Well, I use a microfiber cloth as well, but I do not use toothpicks. I've never thought of that. I mainly just wipe the screen down and the back down, and that's about it, and I'm good to go. But I feel like Brian has a lot to clean off his screen. How do you clean your Vita, Brian?
Well, from all that rubbing, right? You get a lot of finger oil and grease. No, actually, Chris Hill and I share the exact same way to clean our Vitas. I use the toothpicks, mainly not used ones, but I'll take what I can get. And then, yeah, the microfiber cloth is, I think, an essential piece of cleaning your Vita. So, yeah, me and you, Chris Hill, we're doing the same thing. How about you, Kyle?
Yeah, I for the most part, I kind of just breathe on my Vita and then rub it off on my clothes. But I do once a month or so, take a microfiber cloth and a toothpick to it as well. But generally, I just kind of breathe on it and wipe it off, and I'm good to go.
Such a barbarian.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
All right. I think that's all we have to say on that one. Let's move on to the next one here. I don't know who this one is from.
I think it's Chris Hill again.
Oh, it's Chris Hill again? Okay. Chris Hill has another question. He says, what do you think about the Vita 2014 game lineup, and what games will be announced this year?
There's a few games I'm excited for. I can't go off my whole list because actually there's more than I can think of right now, but just to name probably like my top two, I'm really excited for Borderlands 2 and Final Fantasy X. Those games look amazing, but there's a big list of other games I'm excited for, like Conception and some other ones. A game that would be announced this year, I'm hoping, but I have no insight as to whether this is going to happen or not, but I'm hoping for a new Uncharted for the Vita or a Infamous game for the Vita, but that's just hoping. Not really sure if those would happen at all. What about you guys?
Let's flip on the switch. Go, Kyle. Go ahead.
I'm looking forward to a couple games. Tukiden for sure. Definitely interested in that. Soul Sacrifice Delta, if it hits sometime this year, which I believe it probably will. What else? Forgotten Memories for sure. What else? Oh, Sword Art Online. Although I'm probably going to have to import it. There's a ton of games. Gravity Rush 2. There's just so much. I can't even pull them all out of my head here. Yeah, that's all I'll say for now. That's a pretty big list of stuff I'm looking forward to, I guess.
Yeah, I think what he's asking more is like what we think about this year's lineup in general. I think there's a lot to be announced still yet. There's a lot of good games that, as you guys have been mentioning, it's hard to pick a favorite game for the rest of the year. But as far as like how I see the entire year shaping up, I think you should wait for events like GDC and E3 this year. I have a feeling, again, no insight like Tyler said, that you may see some things that will impress you. We may have been scorned on last year's Gamescom and things like that, but you did get hints of games like Rogue Legacy and games like Borderlands 2, albeit them both with very little information releasing on the platform. And I think that you're going to see a big push from the PlayStation to move the Vita forward and to recoup some of the ground they've lost. As far as what games I believe will be announced this year, it's a crapshoot. I'm just going to be pulling names out of a hat. But what I would, if I had to make an educated guess, I would hope that we'd see another sequel to Sly Cooper on the Vita. I think that's a really uncommon vote for me to say, but I think Sanzaru Games has an appreciation for the franchise, an appreciation for the character, and I think that they may want a second crack at that. So that's what my pick is.
Yeah, and kind of a spoiler alert, but the way the last Sly game ended, they have room to make another one.
Or DLC.
Yes. But I don't think they'd go for DLC considering how long the game has been out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect timing to start, or at least announce another game and be like, yes, guess what? Coming soon. Maybe. Anyways.
I just want to know what Yuki says here. Yuki says, I look forward to Deception 4, Tukiden, and Conception 2. Announcement-wise, I would say both Atelier games that are Japanese only currently, and he hopes for a Cuba's Trip, I think is what he's asking for, which actually was teased by the developer. I can't remember who exactly it is, but I remember there was a tease there that it could come this way, so maybe he'll get his wish there. As for what I think of the actual what's coming, there's a lot coming. So really, there's a lot to look forward to. Not just the games that I've announced. If you look, there's a thread on the forum called "The Complete List of PlayStation Vita Games." There's over 100 games there that are coming for sure this year, and there's plenty more that are announced but not dated and scheduled for 2015. So I think we're going to have a good year, and that's just what they've announced so far, and we're just going into February, so lots of room to announce more.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be busy again, and I'm going to have games that I can't play that are just going to sit there.
Yeah, joy. I know. I'm trying to chip through those backlog games that I have that are almost complete, or I got halfway through them and get everything out of the way, so I have room for what's coming.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy. I think this is going to be a good year. Like Brian and Kyle both said, there's a lot to be coming and stuff we still don't even know about for this year. So, yeah. Hope that answers your question. You got any more, Kyle?
Let me look here. Just one more. So Carl Rowland at melon_constant at Twitter asks, what are some of your worst trends in games? For example, unskippable cutscenes, no life bar, etc.
One of my biggest pet peeves in terms of gaming is when they don't allow for captions or subtitles. I think not only is that doing a disservice to your fans that maybe want that service and be able to read it because they can't keep up with all the words on the action, but I think you're also being a little bit discriminatory. Not everybody who plays video games can hear. There are deaf people who enjoy video games, and by not putting subtitles and not putting captions in your game, you're eliminating a huge part of your fan base or potential fan base. So that is one trend I'm not liking, and I don't like it when I see it. So that's one of my choices, for sure. How about yourself, Kyle?
That's a good one, Brian. I definitely agree with that, as well as I don't agree with charging money for voice tracks as DLC, like Soul Sacrifice did, where you could pay $2 and get the Japanese voice track, which was a download. I don't agree with that. I think all languages should be made available in all regions, just because I know there's lots of people who are either trying to learn different languages, or like people who've come over to the States or some other location and they don't quite speak the native language yet and they're looking to play games. They need choices too. So I think DLC voice tracks should be free. Other than that, I think the only other one that kind of peeves me is microtransactions, how prevalent that's becoming. I'm not a big fan of that at all.
Well, way to take mine.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. I think he already touched on it in his question, but the not being able to skip cutscenes is frustrating, especially when it's a major point in the game and it's like a boss battle or something, and you are fighting the boss and then you die, and then you're like, all right, well, let's restart, and you watch the cutscene again, and you're like, all right, let's hit X. Wait, what? Nope, let's hit start. Wait, what? Nothing's happening. So you sit there and watch the cutscene over and over, and if it's a really hard boss, you're going to be watching that cutscene a lot if you're not good at the game or if the game is punishing. So hopefully developers learn that they need to add a skip button to their cutscenes, because some people just don't care to watch the cutscene a million times.
And even if I know a lot of like gaming companies do it so that you watch what they've actually put into the game. You know what I mean? They want you to see the content that they've spent hours on or whatever. That's cool if you want to make it so the first playthrough that cutscenes are locked the first time they play. That's
Right.
fine. You can't skip them. But when I'm die like 15 times in one place and I have to keep watching this stupid cutscene every time I die, that's a piss off, and I tend to put your games down. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it. Is there any more questions we got, Kyle?
We have
Nope.
one extra one just came in hot off the presses. I'm going to steal Kyle's job for a second.
That's okay.
Carl chimed in with the second question. He says, what genres are you still missing and would like on PS Vita?
Oh, well, that's easy. I love third-person shooters and any type of shooter, really. And I know it's not a PlayStation platform or PlayStation game, so I'm sorry if I offend anyone here, but I'm a huge fan of Gears of War, which is on the Xbox. It was one of the games I used to play all the time, and that's a third-person shooter that was, I think, one of the best for the Xbox. And I would love for a real nice third-person shooter to hit the Vita that has multiplayer, co-op, stuff like that. Just a full-fledged, like, Killzone Mercenary, but third-person game. I think that'd be amazing.
So there's a couple that I would definitely say. There's two that I want to cover that are kind of, there's a game or two here and there, but not really, and that's racing games and horror games. So we need more racing games and more horror games. There's a couple out there. There's for racing games. There's Need for Speed, Ridge Racer. There's like other more cartoony games like Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed. For horror, we have like Lone Survivor. We're getting Forgotten Memories. So there's a couple games here and there, but nothing really covering all the bases, kind of. And the other one we're sorely missing is sports games. So all the way from skate to NHL, NBA, NFL, we definitely need more games in those areas.
Well, way to take all the topics, boys. Yeah, I agree with everything everybody said here, especially horror and sports. I think those are two that are especially lacking. Maybe I get that some developers don't think that the portable platform is suitable for either sports and specifically horror, but I disagree on that front. And then Tyler makes an excellent choice as well, saying that third-person shooters should have a spot, especially considering this was the platform they sold as the PlayStation 3 on the go, and we all know that the PlayStation 3 made headway for a lot of great third-person titles. So, yeah, I agree with all those.
Yeah.
Oh, but we also need more Vocaloid rhythm games and more sexually ambiguous RPGs. Like, we could use tons, like, right away, please.
Oh, please bring them west.
Yeah. I know you're being sarcastic, Brian, but we totally could use more sexual RPGs. Maybe not Valhalla Knights quality, but something better than that would be awesome.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier with the Sword Art Online game. I was hoping that would come west. So when I see that news post, Kyle, of you saying it's coming west, I can scream like a little schoolgirl.
Well, hopefully I'll get to make that post, Tyler. Hopefully.
We'll pray right here.
Pray with us, guys. If you're listening to the podcast, pray. You don't even have to believe in God. Just pray to the gods of video games.
Yes. All right, so next up we've got the game recommendation for this week, and it is Yuki's turn, and he has a very lovely description of his game of the week. His game of the week is Wipeout 2048, and he says it was his first experience on the Vita, and his mind was blown, graphically wise. He says, however, the multiplayer was not that great, considering that it was the player pairing. Why did I say pairing? Is it pairing? Pairing. I read it wrong. Pairing was totally random, which is unfortunate because that'd be great if you could actually hook up with your friends and get a game going and race with your buddies. But this game didn't really feature that very well, or at all. I don't think it did at all. I think they made it really difficult to get in a game with your friends. I think it was luck, if I remember right. Although I didn't really play with anyone back then when I first got the Vita. So yeah, that's his game recommendation. It's a really good game. I enjoyed it, and I think it's still free on Plus, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so if you have PlayStation Plus, you need to go grab that game because it's an awesome game and the graphics are amazing. I remember playing that game and thinking, that this game was amazing on a handheld. And it was one of the games I would show off to people early on to show them just what the Vita could do. So it is a great game. Go get it right now. Brian approves.
Why are you mocking my culture? Kyle, can you write up a form for HR so I can make a complaint?
Aww. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Brian. Can we hug it out?
Let's hug it out.
Yes.
I'm squeezing my microphone right now.
Now I'm gonna have to write up a form about complaints about sexual harassment from you two touching. Jesus.
It's not harassment if you're dating.
Oh,
Wait,
It's harassing. It's harassing my ears.
is it making you uncomfortable, Kyle?
It's harassing my ears, you guys.
You got something wrong about us?
Yeah, there is.
Really?
But in all seriousness, I played Wipeout recently. I didn't dive into that game right when the Vita came out, even though I got my Vita shortly after it debuted. And it still is unbelievably beautiful. There aren't many games on the Vita that look as amazing as Wipeout, even 2 years after its debut. So, yeah, definitely from a sheer graphical perspective, pick that game up. And not to mention, it's a fantastic game.
Yes.
Kyle hates it. Kyle's like, seriously.
Yeah.
No, I actually haven't got to it yet. It's sitting on my computer. Like, I've downloaded it and transferred it to my computer, but I haven't, like, even started it up yet, so just haven't got there yet.
So what Kyle's saying is he's too cool for Wipeout, and it's not on his priority list.
Yeah, it's in my backlog list.
So Kyle's just a jerk.
Yeah, I'm a jerk because I didn't play Wipeout yet.
Yet.
I'm not reading that, Yuki.
Anywho, I think that's all we got for this week. Hope you enjoyed this fun-filled, action-packed, dangerific episode of the VitaCast. You can find us all on the Twitters. I'm at Mr. PS Vita Reviews. Kyle's at Teflon Tactics. Brian is at Brian G. Sharon. Yuki is at Yuki_WR. Also at the Vita Lounge if you want to follow the official Twitter of the Vita Lounge. You can find us on Facebook. Just search the Vita Lounge. Don't forget to check the forum and sign up if you haven't. A lot of discussion going on. Introduce yourself. Let us know who you are and what games you got, and make some friends and play some games with us. And speaking of playing games, we do the lounge play every Saturday, and we have a post up from our previous one if you want to watch the video and find out how you can be a part of the Vita Lounge, or Vita, I just blanked on it. The lounge play, there we go. Be part of the lounge play. And yeah, also you can find all the news stories that we talked about on the VitaLounge.net, and more coming in the future. I'd like to thank you guys for listening to this week's episode. I hope you have a great week. See you later. Meow.